everyone. Good morning and welcome to the BIM Cafe. I have the pleasure to have with me a very special guest today. He's not only an architect, as everyone coming to the BIM Cafe has an architectural profile, but he's also been in a management role for the construction industry and someone who make a good career in the UK until the point you could make a book about it. So no more overdue. We're going to introduce our guest, Fabio Roberti. Fabio, welcome to the BIM Cafe.
Hello. Hi, Enrique. Hello, everyone. Thank you for the invite to be participating in the BIM Cafe.
Thanks to you for accepting it, taking your time and coming over. This is really helping us to grow and move forward with all the work we are doing about divulgation of BIM, right? We need to make it happen, not just BIM, more about digital construction in general. First of all, just let me tell all the subscribers, all the viewers, sorry, that we have here the QR code to subscribe to our YouTube channel to give us the support. YouTube, the BIM Cafe, and there we are to you can see this interview and all the interviews already published during the time. So perfect. Let's start with the background music and the welcoming, and let's start with the interview. Fabio, first of all, again, thank you for coming to the BIM Cafe and being part of this. We are gonna run. This is the agenda we prepare more or less for the interview. Importance of coordination, the information flow with BIM, how they are connecting the parts between the design and the execution. At the end, we're gonna talk about improving efficiency, which I think should be the ultimate goal for BIM and any digital tool we want to implement. But first of all, who is Fabio Roberti? For people who doesn't know you, I give you now the presentation and the ground, so you can introduce yourself to our audience.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Yeah, I'm the regional practice technology leader for HKS. HKS is an international company based in Dallas and then based in London. I look after the London office and Dubai office in the EME area. And part of my role is to support the architects delivering the project and also collaborating with different sectors, the bid sector, the commercial sector, to analyze the contract and ensure the project is all aligned with the client's requirements. And part of this role also is supporting the architects and the design team, engineers, to collaborate together, understand the project and deliver what is required for each specific case.
Perfect. So you know a quite good approach about how a BIM project should be done, right? Like we can see the expertise there.
I've been working in the UK for 20 years, and with Revit itself is about 15, 17 years. So then, and part of the companies I have worked for many different companies, large companies, small companies. So then I was fortunate to see all the different aspects from a small company to a large company, how they manage information and how the information flow between different teams, which is very important in these days. And especially, as you are aware, a few years back, the ISO 19650 is a key point for the information management process that HKS London has the certification for the ISO 19650. And I really recommend everyone to look into the ISO, understand the standards and what they are proposing. Because if you read and apply what exactly they are requesting with the templates, the information management in the project is much better and it's really worth to implement in any project. Actually, the ISO 19650 is the best representation at the moment how to manage information correctly in projects.
This is something we hear. Oh, sorry, again, I pressed the wrong button. This is something we hear a lot, right, Peter?
Correct. Sorry, guys. I just even we are just online. I was not able to join on time. Sorry for that.
No,
Fabio, welcome to the BIM Cafe. Thank you for being with us again. Once more, apologize for the joining late. Yes, it's exactly what we hear from the most of the guys, and we're happy to have you here. With your all of experience, you will solve all of our issues and the questions for sure in the next 60 minutes. I'm just here about it.
Very good.
Perfect. So first question to you, Fabio, before we jump into the topics of the interview. In HKS, do you guys also provide certification to other companies for the ISO 19650?
Yeah, we have used the BSI as the partner to gain the certification. So the certification is yearly renewed, and then they come to our office, check our standards, see which projects we have been using the ISO 19650 effectively, and then they check projects, they do overhaul check in the company, and then after that they renew our certifications. So in the market, there are 3 companies, as far as I know, that provides the certification. One is the BSI, that we are currently working. There is the BRE and Lloyd's that provides the ISO 19650 certification. And we, a few years back, 2 years ago, I was leading this process from start to end to ensure HKS is aligned and got the certification.
So is it really a lot of time, effort, what is needed for the certification? And if you assume, how much time you just need to prepare it correctly to be certified?
No, it's not. Well, depending on your personal experience or the company's experience in terms of understanding their requirements and prepare the templates. So there is a set of templates you need to prepare. The BIM execution plan, MIDP. Some of the templates is easy to find online, similar or from previous jobs. People can put together, but it's not over difficult to get the certification. But in the past year, the BSI and the certification itself has changed. Before, you just need to present the templates and how your company is working. And from the past year, if you're not wrong, now you need to also show how you apply in projects. So it's not only the technical side, but how you effectively apply the documentation, the process on projects. So you need to show that this project is being working this way to get the certification. So it has just slightly changed that you need to actually prove your own projects how it has been used. But from my experience, I think is fantastic work the ISO, let's say, team or the people involved did, because it really is amazing how it's concise, directly to the point, and it focuses on information management, which is really important. So I really recommend to every company at least to understand it and work with templates and workflows that the ISO is proposing. And the key point is not only for being right, because sometimes you invite the directors or invite the design team to have a BIM meeting and people just run away, right? So, which is common because, BIM is I like the process and the things involved, but it's not for everyone, which you need to accept. It's not for everyone, it's fine. But when you get to the ISO, it's more about information management. So then if you start to talk about information management, goes across all the board from the contract to the information received, the information you pass. So it's much more broad and affects everyone. It's not only the BIM team, let's say, or the people involved in modeling.
That's very interesting. I think this is, Enrique, for the first time when we're hearing that the people just jumping away from the BIM meetings. So over the last 2 years, this is the first time. So it's a good one. Always time is something the first time on our meetings.
Yeah, this is something we discussed, that we need to make people, in a way, understand that they are doing BIM but without BIM, so without M. They're doing information management, which is also BIM is part of it, but we cannot say that because otherwise they will get scared. BIM already grow in a way that is sometimes is scary. I understand it's not easy. Also, when you say the word ISO, I get scared. Oh, so many papers and things to read. I'm lazy.
It's not so nice to read, because then you're reading a standard. But then if you go to have support from a consultancy, or there are plenty of material online that tells you exactly what you need to do. So then if you have time the companies have time to go through, it's worth it, because then you set up some templates that you need to use. It's not over difficult and it's not over time consuming as well. So overall is a good plan to do for any company.
It's not about business strategy. What you think, Piotr? Because Fabio said that the company needs to come over yearly to renew this certification, right? So in a way, you keep like loyal clients coming over. So it's not like what you get a certification one and go away.
And it's good it's good for the clients' assurance that the company they are working for, they work with good standards, and then they know how to manage information properly, which eventually avoid conflicts on projects and problems on projects. It's similar to the ISO 9001, that is quality management. It's similar process. So then if you employ a company that has good certification of standards, the clients are ensured that the company work in a good base.
I think for sure it's something which also helps just to put some structure. I think you're right. You know, I saw the companies who has all of the different ISO models, and they do not really apply them. Just they do this only for the audit purpose. I will not name it, but you know, I saw some of the customers, etc., who just do this only for the purpose of the tenders, right? To make sure that they have it, and then they just forgetting anyway. So. But it's a bigger effort. I think that for us, it makes sense if we will just use it, and if we will just use, as you mentioned, I think, Fabio, structure is important there. So I think that this will bring us some structure, some rigor, which we can then benefit if we would like to. So that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. And there are a few, when you are implementing ISO, sometimes you don't see the effective benefit of it, but you want to start to use and apply the templates, which is not over complicated. There is one template that ISO mentions is about the risk register. Sometimes the companies, they do the risk register for the whole project, but it is the risk register for the information management. And the typical situation is a project has started, and then we need the survey. Maybe the client did commission the survey, or you didn't get the survey in time, and then but you need to start a project because there is a deadline to start the project, and you don't have the information. So then we track on the risk register that what is missing. So it's just basic things that really, if you apply the ISO, talks about the risk register, which you need to track the information. So then you know what's missing. So you go behind the information to try to push, come on time to deliver the project.
That's fine. That's fine, Fabio. I'm in the same church. Okay, we are convinced. I'm convinced. So that's fine. It's just
no, it's just for our listeners that to understand the process is worth to do it, and it does pay back in terms of procedures and if saving time and cost or mistakes. So.
Perfect. And one other question, and sorry if it's too redundant or stupid, but I have the curiosity now. So when you go to the ISO 19650, do they provide those templates? They have like a template proposal, or they tell you how to do it, but you still need to do the templates for yourself? Or they're like, do it on the company by itself, or are they provided?
Yeah, need to do. They don't provide a template, but you need to do by yourself. And once you apply for the registration, the consultant is going to analyze. They're not going to help you, but they're going to analyze what you did and advise you what needs to be changed. Okay. But searching online, people are able to find many examples that can be used. So,
yeah, and in fact, it's so just, you know, even I'm not the big expert of all of the certification in ISO. Just I went through a couple of them as the owner of the quality in a few companies. So and you as you mentioned, Ricky, you know, there is no template you need to do, but that's also just based on the common sense, on the risk-based approach. So some of the processes which are just in the ISO, you don't need to do them. You're just saying, we decided that this process is not applicable for our company because A, B, C. You need to go the valid reason though. But you know, saying this one is just not applicable because we are the manufacturing company and we will not use the continuous manufacturing, blah, blah, blah. So that's, we are not applying this part of the process, right? And then I think, as Fabio mentioned, the templates are not available for in the norm itself, but it's just they are available around. So just
it would make sense if the ISO provide them too, right? Because otherwise, everyone you need to look for.
No, not really, because that's the whole idea is just to make sure that you do not standardize around. You need to standardize the principle, not the process itself. So just, it need to be the steps, right? So just, you know, I will tell you that you need to measure it. How you measure it's your problem. You know, you measure it in the way that you want to do this. The auditor will check it if you measure. They will not check it if the results of it is just valid or not. This is your responsibility again to make sure that the results which you're having is good. But the whole idea of the process is just on your side. So that's I'm fine with that. They're not providing it. So.
And also, all the external consultants, they will have their business, no? Because that's the part they will do as well, right?
Yeah. Let's go back to BIM a little bit. Let's just
Sorry,
this
we just
because,
got lost on this conversation. So fantastic. Well, so enough for Fabio. Thank you again for coming back. Regional Practice Technology Leader. I like to see the titles of our guests because every time we face new and more interesting titles that I don't know anymore. Before it was just BIM Manager or Architect, now it's Regional Practice Technology Leader. Well, Fabio, let's go for the first topic of block. We have these very generic questions or sector about the importance of coordination. Of course, we're talking here, the BIM Cafe, mostly about BIM, but as I said, this goes beyond BIM, is about digitalization and how we already talked a bit about the ISO framework, but how all these things help to put together. If you want to specify the construction work, like the design and the execution phase, of course, there's way many more things, but to put them together, that what people do, the design on the computer or in their minds, can be done properly. So how BIM can help on this and all the requirements.
Okay. Well, starting again with the information, starts everything with the client requirements and the contract. So then this is the key point that needs to be well defined. And then as the traditional process, we create the design lead or the person in charge on the project. So we will create the BIM execution plan, and then as is widely available, we know the BIM execution plan is going to reflect the client requirements and give an answer how the project is going to be delivered. And then this document plus the contractual documents and all the other information needs to be connected in a way that is a clear flow of information between the different teams, the commercial department, the contractual side. So, and then after that, you specify exactly, let's say, the BIM execution plan and how the project is going to be put together and delivered across the teams. And one of the key points, sometimes the teams produce the BIM execution plan, but not every team members actually read or apply. So needs to have a active role on ensure the design team actually understand what needs to be delivered and the training provided if needed. One point that also I can see recently is that it's about the information needs to have a bit of empathy on the information. It's about psychology, It's not about only taking your model, give it to engineers, and hope the engineers will put the model in right location, and then you do everything right. So then it's about collaboration or cooperation on the information. It's not only send and receive. So we need every part of the team or every company needs to be more cooperative in terms of information to say, okay, so I'm sending information. Is this information okay? So let's check. So then the cooperation between all the companies works best instead of just sending and receiving information. So we need to care about others, how they are using information in the right way. I think this provides best value.
Yeah, but when you look at this coordination, I think it's a mission impossible, to be very honest. I think it's you have especially in the complex construction, you have so many actors. I will just even skip the design phase. During even the construction, you will have the thousands of different actors, from the people who are just working on the site, who are just the manufacturers, the people who just transported, the crane operators, thousands of different interactions. How do you want to make sure that everything works together? That's not a problem. That's not possible.
Yeah, it's not the action on the being, let's say, team or person be manager. This is the action of the project manager on the project. So then sometimes the project manager and the BIM manager, they need to work together, but is this part of the role is project management.
But is it should be like that should be the one person? Is it project manager, program manager? Because this is the big one. It can not be the BIM guy, because I think that's maybe also the problem what we have. They are just having the two different perspectives. Why we cannot have one?
No, well, they need to collaborate. Is too, as you said, there are so many actors and it's too wide for one single person to manage all. So then we need to collaborate with the project the BIM manager. Let's say collaborate with the project manager to work together. So it's a collaboration between two teams or more. to get to a best solution. So everyone provides the experience on the specific field, and the project managers put it all together to deliver two parts.
Okay, understood. Sorry.
We were discussing. Sorry, let me just recall back to our one of our previous guests with Casey Rowland. He mentioned that the key for collaboration at the beginning, you remember, Peter, is you need to be selfish about it. Otherwise, there's nothing you can collaborate, right? And seeing this, I see people still they work on their own, like the project manager or the architect with the design, and the BIM manager with their own models or checking the model. So they don't really think about what they're gonna deliver to the other team. And this is the problem is that we can talk about the information manager or the information delivery, or the model, but it's like we're not thinking about who is next is gonna take my job to do that part, no? And this is the missing part we try to fix with technology, I guess.
Yeah, it's good to have an overview, especially on the client side, overview about the whole process. Because then, in the end of the day, if you take a project, a typical lifespan of a project, maybe 25 years, 80% of the whole cost is going to be after the construction. So then, this asset management is the most important for the client. So then, it needs to have, depending on the project size, of course, it needs to have overview across the whole process from design to asset management, which is very important aspect.
Fantastic. Well, let's jump over. We still discussing a bit about BIM and everything, and this simple graphics, just put them together. What I was saying before, there's BIM or technology, anything as an enable and connector between the design and the execution, and then we have more operational maintenance phase. But as a regional, sorry if I don't remember correctly your position, Fabio, regional technology leader or something like that.
Yeah,
What kind of technologies apart from BIM are you looking to implement to solve, to put this in between, like we're on this graphic, to put it between the design and the execution to make sure that all the process is correctly transferred?
Yeah, talk about a global overview across different companies, and for our listeners as well. One of the key points is about the common data environment, a single source of truth, which is very important. So the question is, in our industry recently, there's still problems about it. In my book, also I mentioned about this issue when the information in the design stage is hosted in a common data environment. When it goes to the contractor, is a different data environment, and there is a loss of data between these two places where you save information. And then when it goes to asset management, and the host information is also a different platform. And this mix of maybe 3 or more platforms, there is a lot of data loss, which represents a problem. So then this is one thing that we try to understand the flow of information to ensure there is a continuity between data.
Fabio, can I challenge a little bit your diagram? Because I think this is great to see that we have the design and we have the construction. Where you have the manufacturers, when you have the operators afterwards. So just that's for me the two integral part of BIM really is the manufacturing and operating afterwards. So where are they in the graphs?
Yes, it's a good point, and there are many companies that are exploring and developing further the manufacturing side of it, and the off-site manufacturing is growing quite a lot. So then is a very important part that you sit together with the construction stage. But yeah, it's very important aspect, which is in the recent years is been growing so much, and people needs to manage resources, and then the off-site manufacturing is something that we are also looking and collaborating with other companies to deploy in projects.
Okay, so for the new edition, we will have another block. Okay, got it. What about the operators? So just because for me, when I look at this, the BIM is the life cycle. Okay, it's starting from the conception. It's coming from you start to conceptualize it, then you start to design it. You just make it, you construct it, you operate, and you demolish. You just discontinue, right? So that's the whole cycle. And I do not see this operators in your picture as well. So where you will place them?
Well, depending on it's not where as HKS is design lead on projects. So the operators comes from the client side, but if I was on the client side, I will focus on the operation first, because the operation will define how the whole process will be done, especially in the construction stage. So it's a key point. There are clients that are more savvy, let's say in operation, they have all the system, the KFM system, they have all set up, then it's perfect. There are other clients, not us, but I speak with other BIM managers from medium other companies. Sometimes they don't have all this information ready, but if they have it, they should be included and be part of even the initial meetings in the design stage, because then in the end we are producing and working for the operators. So then we need to have the feedback, if it's possible, right in the beginning of the project.
Okay, no, I hear you. The one things which I'm worried, and what you said, okay, and again, this is nothing against you, but that's what I hear it more and more. It's saying, we are in this company and we doing this part of it. It's always good because I already see there's some silos broken, but you know what? I think the manufacturing and operators, there are still two extra silos which we are still not touching in the whole BIM approach, which I think it's really just a waste kind of for me, because we can just get the better benefits if we will get this together. So it's good to see it, but I see that it still needs some more preaching.
It's the last field. Before was the costing, so the costing field increased and then they are more integrated, and now the last field is the operation and asset management. That is growing quite a lot, but not so much as we'd expect. I'm not sure if it's the platform of costing. There is some blockers, I guess. It's difficult to say what exactly, but maybe the cost of this platform is one of the blockers that is not pushing enough the solutions, but it's very important to have it. And just one more thing that is interesting to comment is about Kobe. Not sure how they use Kobe in Spain or other EU countries exactly.
Very little, only in the UK, mainly.
Okay, yeah. So this here is common to see many clients for us and the other companies as well, BIM managers that I speak. Sometimes they're requesting BIM data in Kobe, Kobe deliverables, but in the end of the day, if you start to check, sometimes the operator or the client don't have a facility to manage this data. So then what you can see in many projects is just a waste of time. So basically you are waste architect's time, engineering time, and nobody's using the data we are producing in Kobe. So then if for our listeners, if someone is requesting Kobe to your project, start to check, ask how you're going to manage this data, start to fire some questions to understand how, okay, you deliver Kobe, but how are you going to use it? If you don't have the correct answer, just cancel Kobe, because then if you're not using, why you are producing it? And there are architects that are producing information nobody's using.
This is a good point. This happens also more spread for the IFC files we do more in Europe in general, and it's true that it's becoming to the way of requesting information, standardized, open, perfect. We all agree with that, but it's not perfect still, right? They have many leaks on the structure-based material categories still are not fully defined. This is evolving and it will get there, But it's true that people, it's same as BIM. You jump on board and start to ask about BIM before you know where you are gonna get.
And if you see Kobe itself, we have used many projects. We have delivered some for the hospitals. We are working, massive hospitals working, deliver Kobe, and that's perfect. The client has way how to manage information, is all perfect, but it's not to every company, to every client. And the principle of Kobe, I think the technology needs to improve in this way, because then you produce the data digitally, put in a model, and then need to export to Excel and then import it to another platform. So this is a recipe for not working, right? Because it's not fit for purpose these days. So the technology, I believe, needs to improve it to automate this process.
So I think, Enrique, we have idea for another product which we can do.
Yeah.
Fantastic. One question I got before when you were mentioning, Fabio, the example of the different parts, architectural team, design team, or contractor, that they work with their own CDE, their own common data environment. At the end, it's not the same. So interoperability or the effort to make this common data environment for one part of the project is not replicable for the rest. So it's a waste of time. Who should be the one in charge to decide the common CDE for the whole project? Is the main contractor, the designer who set the pace for the rest of the operators? Who will be the team or the persons to set okay, this is the one we're going to use for the whole project, no matter what you do in your company?
Well, you need to ask the information of who is the main interested person interested in this information. So we're producing. So who is the key point? So it's the client. So I think the client should manage the common data environment as the whole process, because, well, yeah, it depends on because you're producing the information to the client, right? So then the client has ownership of all information as long as describing the contract what you need to deliver. So the ideal situation is one that is not managing, but because there is a difference between managing and it has the ownership. So the client should have the ownership, but who is managing could be the project manager, could be the lead architect, is someone has the management role, but the ownership should be from the client. It doesn't happen in all the projects. Sometimes we start a project, then you have our common data environment to manage. Sometimes the contractor, depending on the stage. But if there is a problem if the data is hosted in different parts, because then sometimes in the early stage maybe is managed by us, and then the construction stage is managed by the contractor CDE, and then later you have another platform from the client. So then all this information is not fully connected in a way. So then overall, in my view, is the client should have the ownership, but who manages depending on the project stage. It could be the architects, could be the construction companies, or depending on the project. Yeah.
It's complex, Enrique. I don't know if we can solve it right now.
For me, it makes sense, because at the end, the client will be the one putting the money on, so they should have at least the say of the decision.
But they don't know how to do this. They don't know how to do this, Enrique. It's good that they pay for it, but they have no person to do this. They don't even have a knowledge. This is what Fabio was saying.
Fabio, yeah.
Yeah, no, but that's it's good to say it, yes, but I want to create the airport. I just I'm not thinking about the data. It's just like I want to have an airport. Four walls and just when the flights can, just the planes can land. Right. That's what I want.
If I reframe my question, then so who should assess the client to decide this common data environment is a structure for the project? That should be then
Okay.
Because they will have the ownership, but who needs to be the one to tell the client this is the way to be done? Because then it's come back to the design team or come back to the main contractor. So at the end, they are making the decision. They don't own it, but they're making the decision.
Yeah, well, they usually, depending on which type of the clients, there are clients that are more savvy in technology, they have the whole process set up, others don't. So then they employ information managers to advise them and to manage the CDE, but on behalf of the client itself. So then if the client don't have experience, they pass this to a specific company to do it, or located this to the lead design, let's say. Depending on the project case, if you are talking about a commercial building or a very large airport, so then depends on who is managing, who is the client.
Fantastic. Well, so let's jump to the last part of the interview. This is the main reason why we have Fabio here. Is coming from one of the book he co-wrote with other of his colleague, and it's about increasing the productivity using on BIM project using the solution ready from Autodesk. No, it seems a few words here to don't scare people. No, like you see Revit and Dynamo and Power BI is great, fantastic, but for people when you put so many software and different, but people get scared if they don't know about it. It's not like talking that player.
Yeah, it was very good challenging to write the book. I was writing the book during COVID, so then if you spare time, I decided to myself and Decio get together, and then I decided to write this book. And it's quite interesting. It's not only about Revit itself. There are plenty of Revit tools. It's not the book is not about to teach Revit itself from beginning to end, but is to increase productivity, how you can get faster with the software. And a key point on the book as well is about information management, which the key point, the message I try to pass and convince the readers is about to research for quality information before we start to do the task. So if you have a task to set up the project, so research for quality information. So if you are doing, there are a few examples like a door schedule, then you need to research for quality information. What's the door number the client wants? So there are all these things that if you research and if you are working with quality information, you avoid the real work tasks and waste time. So then it's all about researching for quality information before you do a task. Is the key point on this book, plus the Revit tips to improve efficiency.
So if you wish to convince me to invest in some of the software, I'm not the big fan of names, etc. But if you're telling me that I need to automate the solution, what will be the 3 takeaways really from the book? The key elements which convince me that that's a good way to go forward.
Okay. Well, the first point is about again the research for quality information before you do the task. So it's the first one. The second is about the training. So if you invest on any type of software, needs to fit for purpose, but you also need to train your team and ensure that the people are capable to use the software. It doesn't matter, of course, the book is based on a specific platform, but the principles you can apply to any software. And the other point is about best use of information and understand the software are available. And then the productivity, which is one of the key points. There are many ways how to increase productivity in the software. I did a presentation in the Autodesk University last year in New Orleans, and there are people in the class that enjoy the class, or that don't, because then I wasn't so too much speaking about the Revit itself, but is to increase productivity in a different way. It's about information, because it doesn't matter how good you are in the software, what increase your productivity in the end of the day is the information you have. If you have the wrong information, it doesn't matter how good you are in the software, you're not able to deliver quickly the project. So the third is about having quality information as well to apply on softwares to produce.
So you were saying just research quality information, then just use the training and the best use of the information which is provided and produced, etc. So that's what I hear it, and I think this is in line with building information modeling, right? It's about the data and the sharing of the data and the way how you can just use it going forward and do just to not lose it, right? So that's the way how I see it. Okay.
Sorry, Peter, go on.
No, go ahead. I will just wait.
I was wondering, because it's always hard to measure efficiency or productivity. So you were saying an important thing, which is research for the proper information, and this allows you to do your work. Okay, this is clear. So this is the only way to improve efficiency.
Yeah, I can give another example, because it's always good to give example for our listeners. It's about how many. I would ask it to our listeners as well. How many projects you are involved in doing the Revit, and then someone decided to change I can give many examples. Change the project number. Then we need to rename all the PDFs, all the drawings. Also the door numbers. How many? There are many projects in case the client side a different number. So let's change it all again. Or the window number or the room naming convention. So why are we wasting time to change the room naming convention if this should be agreed in the beginning? We can do quick. Some people that is serving Dynamo, okay, you can do very quick, but doesn't mean you can do quick. You should be doing, because this should be defined long time ago correctly in the first place. So then this is the key point. So then you don't need to do anything quick. You just define it correctly and do once correct. So this is my principle that I try to apply and influence others. So you like just do once. You don't want to do 2 or 3 times the same job.
He's trying to make humans serious with the decision, and doing things at the first moment. So there's no technology who can help us with that, right?
No. If you don't have the right information, then it doesn't matter how the technology is good. You need to redo and waste time.
It's funny how we're seeing this just a simple task, which is naming files, many files involved, PDF, spreadsheets, or any document plans, whatever. It's really time consuming as well, no? And it's crucial for this, like you name a project like CO0001234/AB, and then it's changed for ABC. Imagine, not all the report data. That's true.
And there are many of your listeners that use the Roots tool, which is a free plugin for Revit that you can rename drawings as you print. And then there are many tools on the market, other plugins that improve productivity using BIM platforms, which is great.
Perfect. One last question here, Fabio. I got some curiosity about the Power BI, because it's a thing I've been seeing it more and more recently. Well, here specifically we're talking about Revit, but the integration with Power BI and BIM, how it does it work? Because I know Power BI is a tool to visualize and analyze better the data. So if I give you a BIM model, what can you do with Power BI?
Well, as you know, the BIM model has a lot of data about the rooms, programs. You can compare programs from the client if the data is on the BIM model, the areas. So there are plenty of data in the BIM model that you can extract in a way, adding Excel or directly to a connection to Power BI, and then you can analyze data. Depending on the project needs, you can analyze project data to improve the project, or even to manage the health of the models. So then you can see if there are important CAD files or bad families or these type of things. So then there are plenty of information. We can use the Power BI to analyze the BIM data from health on the models to project management.
So, but that's another tool, right? That's another system. So, why Power BI? Why you just prefer this one? Tell me, just what's the criteria?
Well, most of the companies, they have the Microsoft account, which then the Power BI is included and free to use, which then makes easy. It's not free to share. If you want to share live, then needs a special license. But just to close by yourself to see or share to others in the same link, then it's free. So then I believe because there is a free available on the Microsoft package, then is easy to use and access. But there are other tools like Tableau and a few others that you are also able to create dashboards with your data.
Is it intended, Fabio, for people, understand me, without Revit knowledge, like any sort of management on the department team or operations that don't use the model itself on Revit? Can they use Power BI to analyze it, or do you need as well these software skills to do it from the BIM model?
Well, depending on what exactly they are analyzing, but if they want to see information about the BIM model, then they need to collaborate with the BIM manager to extract the information in a specific way that is clear for the software to analyze. Okay. So that you start a collaboration between companies to see what exactly they want to see on the models, if it's a comparison of areas or program. So then you need to have a conversation between the people, the BIM manager, let's say, or the person involved, to set up the information in the correct way so they are able to read on these platforms.
Perfect. Well,
and one thing that you'll be interesting is not already, just to complement, many of you and the listeners have seen the news, the chat GDP, that can just type and give the answer. It's not ready yet, but you can imagine if you could just type the questions and then get the answer from the AI about your model. It'd be perfect. The technology is not there yet, but I'm sure there are people working on connecting the chat GDP to Revit, and they'll be able to ask questions to the model, which would be amazing. But it's not yet, the technology is not there yet.
Wow, that sounds really promising, right?
I think technology is there. I think the models are not there. So that's
a good point. Yeah. It's too complex. The AI can't understand what we are doing on models sometimes.
Okay. No, I think that's not a. Yeah, no. Okay, I understood. But I think we are having all of what I'm saying. Models is the analytical model for understanding. So this need to, because AIs just need to learn, right? So just you need to. how you need to just give the right answers on the beginning so that the model can be taught really, and then can go through the learning process. And I think that's something what is missing, because if you have the two architects and you have the two designers, so that will be always the 4 different opinions, you know.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, so reaching the end of the interview, anyone who wants to know more about the book from Fabio and your colleague, sorry, Desio, no, is his name.
Yeah,
just go to Amazon. It's available over there in Kindle version as well, or any bookshop if they still exist. I don't know. Still exist over there in bookshop. Yeah, it will be. Well, anything else want to share with us, Fabio, or that enough of your time for today?
No, thank you for the invite. It's been a pleasure discuss with you guys, and always help to collaborate.
Yeah, thank you very much, Fabio. Just sorry, guys, for being late with my technical problems. I was just, fighting with the not with the chat GPT. It's just I was fighting with the internet.
It's a real life issue.
Something different, very basic, which potentially you can imagine if you have the chat GPT but you don't have the internet, will just nothing will work.
Nothing will work. Fantastic. Well, yes. Yeah, last recall, subscribe to our channel. You can see this interview, all the upcoming ones, and we have as well our newsletter in LinkedIn where we can publish a script from this interview, the best extract, everything is collected. So guys, just come over, and there is no way you cannot guys see our faces. So thank you so much for your presence, Fabio. Sorry for being for this commercial break, but we need to push up.
Yeah, commercial break. We need to reach 1,000 by June. We are just going 10 per week, which is not promising for now. So that's okay. We'll be good. Thank you very much, guys. Have a great afternoon. And just Fabio, I hope we will be able to see for the real cafe on the BIM Cafe summer in Europe.
I hope. Okay. Thank you. Thank you
very much.
Thank you, Fabio. Ciao. Bye.